Hi, my name is Kath Jaramita, and I wanted to welcome you to our third Innovation-Based Instruction workshop. Before we begin, I'd like you to think about some of the challenges you face getting struggling learners to read and write. I also wanted to remind you that we have a variety of free resources available on the Curiosity Space website under New York Educator Resources. For those of you who haven't met me or listened to one of my recorded webinars, my name is Kath Jaramita. I want to be upfront and share that I'm not a classroom teacher. My background is in STEM, and I've been a practicing engineer for over 25 years. That said, I've spent much of my career working within the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. And throughout that time, I've had the privilege of collaborating with teachers and students, both formally and informally, in many different ways. From the very beginning, Curiosity Space content has been developed with teachers and students, not just for them. Their feedback has guided us in shaping how we bring the concepts of innovation, entrepreneurship, and STEM into the elementary classroom in both meaningful and practical ways. As we begin, I think it is important to take a quick moment to explain why we believe that innovation is such a powerful tool, especially at the elementary level. I realize this might be a bit repetitive for those who have attended previous workshops, but it is so fundamental to how we think about innovation-based instruction, I think it is worth repeating. So why is innovation so powerful? We've been doing this for over a decade, visiting hundreds of classrooms and working with thousands of students. And here's what we've learned. Student ideas are at the core of who they are. Their ideas reflect the people they're becoming and the things that matter most to them. Innovation and entrepreneurship have a unique way of democratizing and personalizing the learning experience. They naturally center and validate each individual's ideas and interests. And when the ideas and interests being centered belong to students, it sends a powerful message. Your ideas matter, your interests matter, you matter. And it works. When students are given the space and tools to innovate, they often gain a deeper sense of ownership and confidence in their thinking. That confidence, especially in science and STEM, can translate into stronger engagement and higher achievement. As I mentioned at the start, today's workshop is going to be broken into two sections, one focused on writing and the other focused on reading. Our goal by the end is for everyone to have outlines for two lesson plans that you can build upon and that are tailored to your students. Let's start with the writing challenges. This is the point during a live workshop where I would typically ask participants to share some of the challenges they face. Typical challenges expressed include the fact that students don't want to write, wide skill gaps in the classroom, making it hard to design a lesson that works for everyone, poor sentence structure and trouble organizing their thoughts, poor stamina, both mental and physical, and poor motor skills, especially with the digital push that's going on these days. This results in students who are self-conscious about their spelling and other weaknesses, and they also often have limited ideas, and they have time pressures from testing other curriculum and classroom management challenges. With those challenges in mind, let's take a deeper dive into using innovation prompts to promote writing in your classroom. Now, I'm not going to tell you anything about teaching writing that you don't already know. Instead, the goal here is to help connect the dots so you can use innovation prompts as an instructional strategy to support your writing teaching efforts. As we move forward, I'd like to lay out a few foundational assumptions regarding effective strategies for improving student writing. In general, student writing is thought to improve when they write frequently and across many subjects. They have space to work on content and structure independently, This means the fear of making mistakes is removed. Students see what good writing looks like. Teachers provide metered feedback, so don't correct everything all at once. And students have choice and voice on the topics they write about. So in general, I think it's safe to say that student writing improves when they write a lot with guidance and feedback, good models, and a low fear of failure. As a reminder here, I've listed some of the common challenges we discussed earlier, including things such as students not wanting to write, addressing wide skill gaps in the same classroom, and students having limited ideas. On the screen is an example of student writing associated with an innovation prompt. Can you identify some evidence in this writing piece that suggests some of the common writing challenges are being addressed or overcome? The full page of writing suggests that even though the student has poor motor skills and poor foundational grammar skills, it's not holding them back, and they're happy to write about their invention freely. Additionally, the inventive nature of the content is addressing the risk of limited ideas. This student clearly has many ideas associated with his invention. Here is a second example of student writing from the same grade 3 classroom. Can you identify some evidence in this writing piece that suggests some of the common writing challenges are being addressed or overcome? One of the things that really jumped out at me was that clearly the innovation prompt approach provided an opportunity for students at very different writing levels to write freely and to participate in the same general activity. At this point, I'd like you to pause this video and take 5 or 10 minutes to outline a 3-lesson lesson plan that you could use in your classroom that uses innovation prompts to personalize writing. Outlined on this slide are a couple of things you could consider in setting up the objectives of your lesson plan. Additionally, I've included some example innovation prompts and some of the typical challenges teachers face in getting students to write. Now let's tackle the reading challenge. As we consider the second part of our initial question, I wanted to list out some typically expressed challenges teachers say they face when getting struggling learners, or any learners for that matter, to read. It starts with students simply saying they don't want to read or thinking that they're not good at it. As with writing, there are often wide skill gaps in the same classroom. Additionally, students have weak phonics and decoding skills, poor stamina, and often a limited vocabulary and background knowledge. Additionally, some students get used to over-relying on adults, or they have difficulty with the reading comprehension strategies, so they can read the words, but they can't summarize or identify key details, and have difficulty answering the how or why questions. Again, I'd like to lay out a few foundational assumptions regarding effective strategies for improving student reading. Student reading improves when students have built a strong foundation, especially in the K-2 grades. When students get to read every day. When teachers teach vocabulary and background knowledge intentionally and relate the reading to that. When teachers teach reading comprehension skills and then give students a chance to practice them. Providing leveled text with the same content is a great way to help reading. And finally, rereading the same text is very useful for students. In summary, students improve their reading through foundational instruction combined with a lot of meaningful, supported reading practice with engaging texts. As a reminder here, I've listed some of the common challenges we discussed a few slides ago that include things like students not wanting to read, having limited background knowledge, and difficulty with reading comprehension strategies. Biographical vignettes are not only a great way to infuse early career exploration into your classroom, but they also give students multiple pathways to form a connection with what they're reading. Let's dive in. As I read through the following vignette, I want you to think about how your students might find ways to relate to some part of the content of the reading piece. This could be as simple as relating to Anna and Andrea on the basis of gender, or by the fact that they're all going to school in New York State. Or it could be something a little more involved, such as having experienced power outages during some of New York's winter storms, or having gone camping and needed to worry about providing light at night or charging your devices. Let's meet Andrea and Anna, the co-founders of Luminade. The challenge. Anna and Andrea were architecture students in New York City in 2010 when they heard about a massive earthquake in Haiti. They wondered what they could do to help the people affected and the rescuers. In addition to the need for food, water, and shelter, they heard about increasingly dangerous night conditions caused by the dark and the lack of reliable sources of electricity. This inspired them to turn their attention to light. The solution. The two students turned innovators and entrepreneurs, designed an inflatable solar-powered lantern. In 2015, they pitched their product on Shark Tank and received offers from all 5 investors. This has helped them get their lantern to people in more than 100 countries. Anna's and Andrea's invention is inexpensive and packs flat to make shipping thousands of lights to areas affected by natural disasters and other emergencies easy. The light battery can be recharged using a small solar panel on the top of their lantern. There is also a built-in USB port to recharge your cell phone or mobile device. Luminade's lantern replaces reliance on candles or kerosene lamps, which can cause fires and contribute to unhealthy indoor air quality, and can't charge their devices. Luminade can also help those who enjoy hiking and camping in the outdoors and remote areas. There are 9 vignettes in your pre-read, plus a list of about 20 to 25 other vignettes that we have available. Please use one or more of them for your lesson plan. Once again, I'd like you to pause this video and take 5 to 10 minutes to outline a 3-lesson plan you could use in your classroom that uses biographical vignettes to personalize reading. Outlined on this slide are some things to consider as learning objectives for your lesson plans, as well as some typical challenges teachers face in getting students to read. With that, it brings us to the end of our session. As a wrap-up activity, I'd like you to pause this video and complete a 3-2-1 reflection. What are 3 things you learned or rediscovered during this session? What are 2 things you're still thinking about? And what is 1 thing you will commit to trying in your classroom? As mentioned previously, there are both physical and digital versions of both the Book of Ideas, a book with a number of innovation prompts in it, and the STEMtastic career cards, or the packs with biographical vignettes. To access the free digital version of the Book of Ideas, or the collection of innovation prompts, please log on to the Curiosity Space app as shown here. Once you've logged on, you can select a Book of Ideas version and then pick from any number of innovation prompts shown. Students can work directly on the app, or you can transfer the innovation prompts to your classroom and they can work in a separate notebook. The app is free, but it does require a login to get access. Also included in the same app are the free digital STEMtastic career cards, or the biographical vignettes. To access those, you once again have to log on and then go to the Inventors Gallery. Once there, select STEMtastic career cards, and that will take you to digital versions of the biographical vignettes. That brings us to the end of our session. I hope you found the ideas and strategies useful. If you have any questions about today's content or about innovation-based instruction in general, please feel free to reach out. Until next time, happy inventing.